Hi, how are you doing today? I'm one of the Dark Angel players, as you can see behind me. Recently I had the luxury of getting my nice and wonderful collector's copy of the Dark Angels Codex, and a couple things, really like the coins, all the data cards in there are absolutely wonderful. I did have the pleasure of playing a couple games, getting them out of the way, seeing how the new Codex plays. I gotta say, this is honestly the Codex for the Ravenwing, because they did a lot of excellent job, a really good, excellent job with the way that they play versus a lot of things. Instead of doing a review like a lot of people have already done, where we just go over the Codex and page after page, I just think of 4. Oh, it's a Space Marine. We're going to talk about the advantages and the disadvantages, and the biggest one being is Deathwing has been nerfed. Can't run it solo anymore. Sorry guys, I wish it was still there. But if you run the Damien Company, bare bones, you can actually get a good chunk of your Deathwing back into the game. Plus, with all the objectives secure, you can use your Deathwing to rape and pillage the backfield and just tear it up. That being said, I think a lot of people are really upset that how bad it got nerfed, because you can't play it solo anymore. And game changing, things happen. Let's move on. Ravenwing definitely got the biggest boost with the double rolls for Jinx. We actually had an argument or conversation on Facebook with our local gaming club, tabletop here in San Antonio, about what is the better roll. Is it a better roll based off of just pure number? So you got 15 las guns hitting your bikers. You know, not a lot of those hits are going to go through, so do you want to take it on your armor? Or do you take it on the Jink with the potentially 3 up rerollable, 4 up rerollable? If you have Skilled Rider and your Dark Shroud, rerollables. That being said, they are definitely viable. And just as an example, I had 2 squads, Ravenwing Bikers, 6-man, 2 grab guns in each squad, Veteran Sergeant with Melt-A-Bombs. Third squad had 4 guys in it, Veteran Sergeant, 2 a command squad, fully upgraded Apothecary, Champion, no banner, but Champion nonetheless. 4 Knights and Dark Talon and Nephilim Jet Fighter, Dark Shroud and Tac Bikes, one with Multi-Melta, one with Heavy Bolter. We also had a mix of land speeders on the charge with the rest of the attacks. In the first game, and this is just to give a brief synopsis of it, in the first game, the 2 up rerollable protecting me against all the grab that I got hit by. One of the players is a very competitive player. He likes to make very effective lists, and because of that, I knew if I played against him, I would be able to see the strengths and the weaknesses of the army. Well, 2 up rerollables just saved my skin. Shot after shot hit, reroll that Jink. And on that first turn, as long as you turbo boost, you get it for free. Or flat out if you're a speeder. So a lot of effort went in for him dropping it as quickly as possible, and it just didn't happen. And from there on, every group that he brought in, it was a matter of cleanup, and I didn't have to rely on the Jinxes compared to that first round when he had all the grav. So that game ended up with me tabling him, but only because that first turn was so decisive. With the second game, however, he brought I don't know the name of the formation, he brought two of them. One was with the Vindicators, or just the unit of Vindicators, with the 3 Vindicators, with the Apocalyptic, Strength 10, AP2 Blast, ignores cover. And the other thing he brought was the Land Raider formation with the Tech Marine. Since he was playing Iron Hands, or the Clan Rakukin. I know I mispronounced that name, and some people are probably going to yell at me for it. A lot of feel no pain, a lot of just trying to protect himself. He ended up winning the game, almost tabling me, and if it had gone on, he would have. But that first turn, Apocalyptic Blast, even though I tried to get close enough where he couldn't fire it, I had 1 or 2 units just outside that range, one or two models just outside the range, landed it right there, no scatter. Took out my Dark Shroud, full unit of bikers, and 1 biker out of Semi-L squad, and then he tanked the rest of those AP2 wounds like a boss. So, it's really effective against the Ravenwing formations, and even if you're going to take the Demi Company and then take the Silent Squadron and take the support squadron with the Raven Shield, you're still going to run into the same problem. If they have a lot of ignores cover, you're going to see a lot of models just swept off the table. Anything from Town Marker Lights with some of that AP2 stuff, Incinerator Cannons, Hell Drakes, they're really going to tear up the models early game until you get your flyers on the table. That being said, I was really, really happy with how well the Dark Talon performed. I didn't get the rift opened up on my first game, but it did open up on the second. And did not scatter, stayed right there on the Land Raider formation. It didn't do any penetrating hits, but it definitely made him want to clear those Land Raiders out as quickly as possible. That way he wasn't in the vortex anymore. On the third turn, it dissipated because I rolled double 3s and it was going to move away, and it just gone. The biggest strength is with the addition of grab, with the addition of the formations. That rerollable jink with the Ravenwing really affects the game, and I think you're going to see people who are going to find really interesting combinations with it. I was talking with one of the people at the club, and it was essentially boiling down to the ITC rules, stating that you can't have a 2-up rerollable. If it's 2-up, then it's 4-up. And I didn't have time to look into it. We just played it as 2-up, 2-up. But it was really nice to see how that actually worked. If I had those units just a little bit closer, he wouldn't have been able to hit me with the Apocalyptic Blast, and that would melt the bomb opened up a couple of those Land Raiders and just swept right through. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the blah 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 blah. You guys all know the deal. This is going to be really unedited, and normally I like try to do a lot of nice washes and things like that. This is just a post-game report, and I want to let people know that, you know, that the Codex is going to work. It's, as far as the Marine part goes, the standard Demi Company is equivalent with the Space Marine Codex, but the Ravenwing really shines. The 2-up rerollable is just insane. The one thing I know I've heard a lot of complaints about is, what about the 2 extra HQ choices on the Ravenwing attack strike force? Because you have 1 HQ and 2 fast attacks, and then for optionals 2 more HQs. But if you can only take models with Ravenwing special rule, how do you balance that out? Was it just a typo? Was it a mistake? What's going on with it? A couple of suggestions that we got, if GW actually listens to this, is the Deathwing rule gets swapped for Ravenwing if you put them on a mount. So you put them on a bike, they swap Deathwing, so the Fearless and all that, and they get Ravenwing, so they re-roll their Jinx now. And that way it still kind of balances out, and you still have your units doing what needs to get done. And you have your 3 HQs, which personally I really like the 3 HQs. They help out a whole lot when it comes to getting things done. And I normally like to run an Interrogator Chaplain on a bike with the Mace of Redemption. Just, I will take down some equipment with that. Wraith Knights do not stand up to him as he gets up in their face and just, done. Oh, you stomped me, but no, you're still dead too. Bye. The Black Knights are really pulling their weight. I like that you can take two grenade launchers instead of just the one. That way you can fire a rad and a snake and a stasis. And I like the old rad rules, but you know what? I can live with taking making them take extra wounds on 6, rather than the -1 toughness. The stasis works really well, but of all the biggest improvements that I saw tonight, it was that rerollable Jink just saved model after model, and the Dark Talon just opening up with that Rift Cannon and just saying, come at me. Oh, you want to stay still? Well, let me place a Vortex right on top of you and see how long you want to stay in that strength 10 whirling mass. I would definitely take a look at it and play a few games yourself. I know a lot of people are going to start be putting out battle reports shortly with the Dark Angels and but this is just to let you know what my experience has been so far with it, and I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be an excellent codex, and I think you're going to see a lot of play in tournaments with it. Have a good night.